sometimes? No. Same in Ukraine. But in order to change something, if you really want to change something, you should change your value, you should change your virtue. You should love people that you really love them. How much did you pay for your salvation? Was it free? Yes. What does the Bible tell you to do? About others.
To help them come to salvation as well.
For?
Free.
Salvation only? What about the garbage on the streets? You see, we should provide services, free services. But to do that, we should change our virtues. That is why we go to the church. Whom of you attend the church this morning? Let me put you in a comfortable position. I'm sorry, Pastor David, for doing this, but let me put you in a comfortable position. Okay. So who have been at the church? You've been at the church, yes? My sister, let me ask you a question. What was the topic of a sermon?
Okay, today's topic is the goodness of Lord, the goodness of the Lord in our lives.
Pastor David, what was the topic? Okay, which church do you belong? Which church do you belong? Who's your pastor? Is her pastor here?
I didn't see him.
You don't see him. Who is from her church together? Who goes to the same church as she goes? Ogba. You go. What was the topic?
Keys to effective evangelism.
Why do we go to the church? I told you, remember, I'm going to put you in an uncomfortable situation. Sorry. Why do we go to the church? We go there, as I understand, as a pastor. I think that most people should go to the church to change their values. So, to change my values, I must get the lesson. How can I get the lesson if I don't remember the topic of a sermon? What are my conclusions? What are my decisions? What are my life-changing decisions that I should make after each sermon? If there are no things like that, so that's why there is no social transformation. Now you understand why? Church is sleeping. Even though your church is really good, trust me, you don't know. I know what I'm talking about. Listen, I know. Only when I would travel abroad, I understand what our pastor is doing at our church and what our church is, why our church is different and that our church is different from others. Trust me. You sit here, you don't know what your pastor is trying to tell you. You don't really understand, even though you might be a pastor. You may be a pastor, but you don't understand. You have to travel to see. Listen, I've been in the United States. You will not find, your pastor told you, if they listen to sermon more than 30 minutes, what do? They go for coffee break. They don't care about you. They don't care. You may stand here and pray for them. Pray for them on your knees. 30 minutes and they go for coffee break. They don't care. So, you are blessed. You are blessed. Trust me, you are blessed. But the church is about changing life values. Why do we need to change life values? Because, listen, changing life values, all of us, we belong or we correspond to different social spheres. So that is why if we change our values and we go beyond the church walls to those spheres, we are going to bring transformation there. And it does not matter whether you are a pastor or you are not. You can bring social transformation. But in order to do that, you must know the system and you have to change your values. That's all. Let me quickly tell you about I have prepared the topic. It's like an introduction that I want you to get. I have 20 more minutes. I'll be on time with that. The topic is, why does God give birth to people? Why does God give birth to people? How many citizens are in Nigeria? About 120 million. 160. 160? Yes. Okay. Too much. I mean, very good. But there are too many. Okay. Alright. Why does God give birth to people? You can write down Luke chapter 2 verses 8 through 14. 8 through 14. It says, "Now there were in the same country shepherds living out in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks by night, and behold, an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were greatly afraid." Listen. Then the angel said to them, very carefully, "Do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy that which will be to all people. Listen, make a mark for yourself. Great joy that will be for all people. Great joy for all people. Great joy for all people. Number one. Then, for there is born to you this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord, and this will be the sign to you. You will find a babe wrapped in swaddling cloth, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts praising God and saying, number two, glory to God in highest, and on earth peace. Write down, mark yourself, peace, joy, peace, goodwill toward men. Goodwill. So joy, peace, goodwill. Three things. Joy, peace, goodwill. Joy, peace, goodwill. Joy, peace, goodwill. There are three things. When Jesus was born, three things Lord wants us to know about His birth. He said, three things will appear on the face of the earth now. On the surface, listen, on the surface of society there will be three things. Joy, peace, and goodwill, okay? God has a plan of human beings' redemption. Do you know about it? Yeah. He has a plan. He has a plan. And for this particular season, or reason actually, He has announced to this world what is going to happen because of Jesus' birth. In other words, God having a plan, He said, okay, now Jesus was born into this world, so because He was born, joy, peace, and goodwill will enter into this world. Was there joy of God, peace, and goodwill on the face of the earth before Jesus' birth? No. God said, because He was born, that was His plan. Because someone was born, joy, peace, and goodwill appears on the face of the earth. So make a mark for yourself. Because of Jesus' birth, life, death, and the resurrection, each and every one of us got our salvation from God. That was the very plan of God. Out of this message, you can see how important, you can literally see how important everyone's life in the eyes of the Lord. In the eyes of the Lord. Let me explain it to you. Let me explain it. At any time, whenever God hears, oh, that's, no, another thing. Sorry. So the life of a man is important. I have two questions to you. I have two questions. Number one, did the life of Jesus and His birth influence lives and destinies of people in the world? Yes. Did it affect? Yes. Okay. Number two, did the life of Jesus multiply and establish principles of the kingdom of God on the earth? Yes. Positive. All right. If yes, then my question to you, write down. How do you understand these passages? Number one, 1 Corinthians 4:16. 1 Corinthians 4:16. Therefore, I urge you, imitate me like I am Christ. How do you understand this passage? Therefore, I urge you, imitate me or copy me as I copy Christ. How do you understand this verse? Concerning what we talk about. How do you understand this?
It's like be an ambassador of Christ.
Be an ambassador of Christ. Another passage, write down please. Another passage. Luke chapter 14 verse 27 says, and whoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. How do you understand this passage? Whoever follows me and does not bear his cross is not my disciple. How do you understand that? Let me explain to you. Your life is important for God. Your life. I'm not talking about you as a church. I'm pointing my fingers, you see, on you. Your life is important for Christ. That is why He said that anyone who follows me without bearing his cross is not worthy of me. So Jesus was trying to say, hey, if you don't do this, then there is something wrong with you. So He wanted to point our attention to the fact that we should do something. Let me show it to you what this Bible says about this. Book of Acts chapter 7 verse 17 and 20. It says, but when the time of the promise drew near which God had sworn to Abraham, the people grew and multiplied in Egypt. Like in Nigeria, they multiplied. Till another king arose who did not know Joseph. King. Garbage on the streets, that's a king of your city. Corruption. that's a king of your city, who does not care whether you're Christian or not. You see? These men dealt treacherously with our people and oppressed our forefathers, making them expose their babies so that they might not live. And this time Moses was born. At this time, which time? The time of a king. The time of a problem. When the problem appears on the face of the earth, how does God answer to the problem? At this time Moses was born and was well pleasing to God, etc., etc. Listen, at any time, as weep and cry of God's people or nation of the earth, whether it's Christian, whether they're Christians or not, listen, whenever the cry comes to God's heart and His ears, how does God answer to this cry? He gives birth to a man. So why did He appear on the face of the earth? You and your life. It does not matter which country you live. It does not matter which family you've been born. It does not matter what is your height. It does not matter what is the color of your skin. It does not matter how much do you have your degree or you don't have. For now, listen, one thing we should understand. I was not born into this world by accident. It was not a mistake of my parents. You know, some people, they say, oh, you know, our parents, they didn't know how to preserve themselves, so I was born by accident. That's not true. That's not true. There are many people who want to have their kids, but they cannot. Listen, you've not been born into this world by accident. You've been born into this world as a solution to someone's crime. Moses, he was born. Moses was born because someone has cried. So listen, your life, it does not matter. How much is that? I don't see. Huh? 10. Okay, because I don't see. I'm sorry. All right. So Moses was born. God gives birth to a man. Not just a man, but the man whose responsibility will be to bring a solution, or that solution, or to solve the particular problem in that society. Each and every one of us was not born by accident, even though your parents might say your birth was not planned, or you think you were born by accident or in the wrong country. Whom of you honestly, you're honest, you ever thought that you were born in the wrong country? That is wrong. Nigeria is a wrong country to live. Honestly, who may say this? You thought like this before you got saved. Did you think like this? May I see your hands, please? Who thought like this? Listen, it's a God's plan. He knew what He did. He knew what He did. There was a plan for you to be born in particular society. Why? Let me give you hints to help. No one appears on the earth without reason or by accident. God has His plan for each of us, and the plan is called your calling from God. Calling is not just for pastors and ministers of the church. Listen, calling from God is not just for pastors or ministers. When you say reverend, what do you mean? Reverend. You mean pastor or minister? Yes? What? Very good. It's honor. Honor. Whom should we give honor? To pastors only? I don't think so. Each and every one of us, whenever we fulfill our calling, you become honorable in God's eyes. Why? Not because of you, but because of what you do. So, the hints are, there are bankers that have been called by God to become a living solution for the problem of poverty. There are men and women which are called by God to restore the true image of a man and a woman in the world. Because in the beginning they were not of this image that they have right now. There are families which are called to become an example for millions of families to stop epidemic of divorces. There are people that have been called to stop corruption in the government. There are people that have been born to solve the problem of poverty. For each, listen, look at this. For each society problem, for each, God has the only solution. He gives birth to a man and determines the calling from him. The question for you is, what have you been born for? Do you remember that passage, that very passage? What were the 3 reasons why Jesus was born? He was born to bring joy, peace, and goodwill. That was His calling. Did he bring it into the world? Joyfully, joyfully, ta 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 ta. Why do we think joyful? He has brought joyful. He has brought joy. Did he fulfill his calling? Yes. Why are there a problem of poverty in Nigeria? Some one of you, you've been born into this world not to create a family, not to eat, just to eat, not just to drink, not just to have a car, not just to do something. You've been born to solve the problem of poverty. Instead, majority of Christians would take care of our own. That is why, listen, there is no power to solve the problem of society rather than first identify yourself, who you are and what you have been born for. And number two, understand the reason, understand the structure and system as an idea, as a key to solve the problem. If you understand these two things, you can easily do it. You can easily do it. You can easily do it. For example, you see me, honestly, my wife, she knows me, that I don't like to present myself. I don't really like to present myself. Why am I so bold as I am now? Because I know what I have been born for. And what do I do now? I just do, I accomplish, I fulfill my calling. So I don't really care what people think about me. The only thing that matters for me, do I fulfill my calling or not? So what have you been called for? I give you a solution. I have 3 more minutes, so very simple solution. There is how to determine your life, how to determine the reason why you've been born into this world. Very easy. Draw 2 lines like this. Draw 2 lines. 2 lines. One of them is pain. Number 1, pain. Number 2, love. The intersection, that's your life destiny. That's your life calling. Where pain and love intersects in your life, there is your calling. So how to determine? Very easily. What does it mean, pain? Pain means something that does not allow you to sit or to pass by without weeping or crying or, without reacting on the problem. Maybe even hateness. Maybe even hateness toward the problem. Are there any problems like this that you cannot stop? You cannot, how to say it better? You cannot hold yourself, but you react on the problem. Is there any problem like that? What is the problem? That you cannot stop yourself. Deceit. Okay. Poverty. So it means anytime you meet with the poverty, it breaks you down. Pastor David, you said today that I make, big things simple, yeah? Do you know why? Because that's my pain. You know what is my pain? Easily I'll explain to you. When I came to the church, I joined, remember I told you, I joined Usher's team. And people from the church, the home group leaders, they thought that because I'm in the ushers, I'm in their team, in their home group, to raise spiritually. Ushers, they saw, because at my house there was a home group, they thought that I'm in that home group. So actually, I was not in any home group. I was anywhere. So I had lots of questions. Can you imagine, newborn Christian, never read the Bible, I had lots of questions. Pastor is on the stage, I have no leader. Who do I have to address the questions? Who did I have to address those questions? There was no one. So my biggest pain is, there are lots of people who live on the Christians who live on the face of the earth, and they have lots of questions, but they don't know what to do. The way I explained to you systems, is it easy? Does it make sense? You understand it? That was my problem. I didn't understand anything. I had no one to ask. So that's my pain. When Christians, they have lots of questions but no answers. Or the answers are good, but they, doesn't change anything. For example, my question was how to establish a personal relationship with God. I didn't know. They told me, read in the Bible about the way how Joseph, he did that, I said, I read that, I don't understand anything. I have lots of questions. I'm very simple and straight. If I don't understand, I don't understand it. I go and ask people. No one can explain. They explain with the Christian slang. Say hallelujah and, open your heart to God. How do I open my heart? How do you open your heart? Explain to me. How can you open your heart? I don't understand this. Praise the Lord. How can I praise Him? What should I do? So then I started to ask this question. And suddenly it came that it's my pain. You understand now what pain is? And And love is solution. Love means solution. So when I ask yourself, does it make me painful, feel pain when I see people like that? I said, yes. What should I do? I should bring them solutions. So what did I start to do? I started to read books. I started to get the question. I started to watch, videos, lots of things to develop. I got the answers, and I started to bring those answers. That's why, being less than 1 year, born again Christian, without reading the Bible before, I started my own group. Because that was my love. That was pain. You cannot, listen, okay, can I make an example with you? I'm so sorry, because I see your sentence. Will you forgive me? You sure? All right. Does it hurt? What are you trying to do? You see, he's trying to get rid of a problem, of a pain. That's love. Love means action. When you pain, you literally want to do something. You can't see it at the church. You can't see it. You can't wait until next Sunday will come. You start to do something right after the Sunday. Right after you hear the sermon, you say, I should do something toward my problem. If you hear the problem of, what did you say the topic? Was the topic? What did you say was the topic? Huh?
Keys to effective evangelism.
Keys to effective evangelism. If evangelism is my passion, so what do? I go and evangelize people. I don't go to sit at the restaurants to eat. I go and I practice. Why? Because it's pain. It makes me painful. Do you want to get rid of a pain? Of course. So that's why that's your calling. So your assignment, I'm finished. I'm done. Your assignment for tomorrow. Because I'll start from this tomorrow. Your assignment, write down at least, how do you do this? Write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be different pains. Listen, there's no one. There could be several of them. Don't worry. Later on, when you start your calling, for example, Pastor David, are you a pastor? You said you work with the youth, yes? Do you personally work with the youth, or someone else also work with you? Someone else. So it means, if you ask Pastor David, who is he, what is the calling that he identifies himself with, he's a pastor. But he's not a youth pastor. But he has pain for youth, so it means he raises someone else who works for the youth. I get it? Yes, so there should not be just one pain, okay? There could be several of them. But out of these couple, you should write 1, 2, or 3. There are no more than 3 normally. Generally, no more than 3. You should find them, write them down. It means that's your life calling. And Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'm going to teach you how to build system and how to sustain that system working constantly for your whole future life. And how to see that the system will bring forth the result. Did you understand me today? Yes. Was I clear? Yes. Do you know why? That's my calling.
Before we take the next session, they're going to ask you questions on this. So take maybe 5. Okay, the principle now for other sessions that you write it. So we'll do that. But for now, this is opening. I'm going to let him just take direct questions. Take like 3, 4, and then you will treat that. We just have 15 minutes before the next session. So let's see what we can accomplish. Okay, you want to ask a question? We need those that can ask intelligent questions. All of us will now benefit from it.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Pastor.
Welcome.
You spoke about the Nordic countries.
Yes.
I have been to one of those countries, and I observed about garbage and cleanliness.
Which country have you been?
I went to Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Yes.
That's not the Nordic country, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Okay. Those people usually they're not Christians.
Yeah.
So what is the reason for this love that they have?
First of all, once again, thank you so much for the question. Switzerland, it's not a Nigerian country. It's not a Nordic country. Sorry, but if you know Switzerland, listen. There are in every society. Remember, I told you that there are more than 250 different social spheres, segments. Yeah. Who can tell me what is Switzerland known for as a best country? Bank system, then watches. Then also honesty and integrity. So these are their best segments. I gave you as an example of Nordic countries just the order, the cleanness. That's one of the segments. But trust me, there are bad segments like homosexuality, etc. There are also bad segments. So there are many of them. But the reason why I told you about that each and every one of us would have been born to solve the problem. I see about 350 people here. I don't know how many, but 350 people, leaders. Listen, you cover all of those areas, almost all of those areas. So it means if there is a problem of, you said something in that Switzerland, it means it's a reflection. It's a reflection. That's a social appearance that shows that values has been changed yet. And also it means there is no person who took a responsibility to change that. That's all. Are you getting it? Wow. So the problem is a solution actually for Christians to understand. Are there any problems? We're going to talk about this. I have prepared a list of 45 problems that I've seen in Nigeria for the last 1 week. I'm going to give it to you on Tuesday before I'll give you an assignment. They are not all the problems, but I have prepared a list that I've seen. You can find your own. Identify yourself with and your calling, and you will change that. Listen, are there any good things in Nigeria? Yes. What does it mean? It means someone took a responsibility for that. For example, Nigerians, they are bold. Bold, yeah? But that was not so. That was not so. Trust me, I studied Nigerian history before I came here. Have you heard the name of Murtala Muhammad? Yes. Do you know who he was? Yes. He was in the power only for 6 months. 6 months only. But what he did the military, I would say, how you call it? Coup d'etat, yeah? Yeah. Why? He went against the system. So he has brought this boldness into the society. Why? That was his virtue. That's what he was killed for. That is why he was killed for. Virtue, that's something that you are ready to die for. Until you are ready to die for it, it's not a virtue in your life. It's not a value in your life. Are you getting me? So that is why the boldness that Nigerians have, it started with that Murtala Muhammad. That is why you are so full of energy. You are so, you're so active. You are not like Ghanaians. You understand? So that is why Murtala Muhammad, he was the one. It doesn't matter whether he's a Christian or he's a Muslim. It does not matter at all. The only thing that matters is that the person brings a solution into the problem. The problem is when the person who brings the solution, he's not a Christian. It means he brings non-Christian values, and that's bad. That's very sad. That's very sad. But yet, when it happens, the social appearance of that sphere is changing. So the problem that we have, it's only a solution for us. It's a hint from God for us that we should do something toward that. Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I want to just ask this question. You made a statement that you said that you don't need money. All you just need is to change people's values.
Yes.
I believe definitely that several of us here, we have our individual visions and driving points of our existence. Each and every one of us, we are so conversant with the solutions we want to provide for this nation. But I've come to understand, and when we ask ourselves the question, someone will just say, I need money. Someone wants to start an NGO, he says, I need money. We need money to transform the educational sector, we need money to transform the economic sector. And also the Bible says that money answers all things. I want you to please break down this issue on how we're going to leverage on this value system in order to create the necessary platform to change our society from the value system point of view. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the question. Okay, I'll just give you a quick example. That's my wife. She runs a social organization that's a pre-marriage school and family school. We call it a social project, NGO, we call it social project. That pre-marriage school and etc. They do it for free. Every week she gathers people and she does it for free. No money at all. So to register NGO in Ukraine, you must pay money just to register. Just to register. So let me ask you a question. How much money did we pay out of our pocket to register NGO? Сколько мы денег заплатили за то, чтобы зарегистрировать из нашего кармана? No money at all. How? That's a system. There is a system behind it. How do we do it? Easily. We start for free, and it took me only 2 hours. In the beginning, listen, in the beginning you always have to pay. You always have to go through pain. Pain of problems, financial problems, you have to go through the pain. You have to sustain the pain. You have to hold yourself and wait until it will be solved. So, at the end of every lesson, what do? We ask people, if you want to bring an offering, if you want to make an offering, if you want to support us, just give us some money. So they started to give us the money. And trust me, non-believers, they give more than believers, than Christians. So we started to collect offerings at the end. They do, listen, what they do, any amount they collect, 50% out of it they give to the church, 50%. 50 they remain, they put aside for themselves. Then they collect some money, that's a system. Then they record a CD with that teaching, because there are lots of people who cannot attend. So they started to they use those money to produce those CDs. They start to sell CDs. So, making the long story short, they got money to register their NGO, and now they already have money to start to pay even small but salary to some people who work for the full time. That's all. You don't need money to start. Thank you.
I want us to take note of what he said, because he shared this with me, in a private session, that even that NGO brings more money to the church.
Yes.
And brings more souls every week than what all the rest of the people sitting down. She is one of the greatest soul winners, and she's using the NGO to win souls and bring them to the church. And the NGO brings up to 50% of their income to the church. So you see, don't think that all the money you need is inside the church. Okay, another person.
I'm not saying that it's a big money. Now, listen, these are not big money. But if you run 50 NGOs like this or 100 NGOs, trust me, your budget for the church will be incredible.
And you said she has how many branches?
Today she has about 100 branches. I'm not very familiar right now, because she's responsible. But it's more. 3 months ago there were 75. Now she has opened another 20 or 25. So almost 100. In 7 countries, which she never been. That's an idea, system. She never been in those countries. She never been in Italy. She never been in Greece. She never been in Canada. Never been there. No,
Thank you very much, Pastor, for convening this meeting. Thank you, sir, for the presentation. My questions are in 2 dimensions. One is, when you have a strong passion, a burning desire or passion to solve a social problem in society, and now one of the fears most people have is how to take care of themselves, how to fend for their families and some of the objects. And probably the person is working and earning some salary and all of that. And you want to pursue your passion. Now, how do you overcome the fear when you resign to generate income? That's one. Then secondly, if you want to match your passion or follow your dreams, accomplish your dreams, and how do you combine both of them?
Okay. First question, do you have to resign your job to go and do this? Because people have fear about how to keep surviving, how will they earn a living?
Yeah, I understand the question. Thank you so much. Do you remember I told you that we're not usual church. For example, at my church, yes, I get some blessing, but it's not enough. It's not even enough to pay for my son's school. I got the blessing, the salary. That was my personal own decision. I said to my wife, because I said I should work. I work as a teacher of English in my country. For me to get here for 2 weeks, I had to cancel all of my lessons, because I had to be here. But I work full time. Not full. How to say? I work for myself. I'm private. I'm running my business. That's my business. Teaching English. I teach English. I have about Сколько у меня студентов? About 50, let's say. 50, 55 students I lead. They make my income. So I'm not a traditional pastor who for the full time. I'm for the full time, but you never see me on Sunday. Like there is no Sunday like when congregation or my assistant is saying, pastor is working today, he cannot do it for the church, so that's why I'm going to preach. No, if I'm not in the church, it means I'm somewhere else. Okay, so the rest of the time I'm in the church, and not only on Sundays. I'm full-time pastor, so all of the activities I lead, but I work. When do I work? I work 6 a.m. I work, at sometimes till midnight. I do those lessons over the Skype, over Skype, program. So I do those lessons. People they study. So that was my decision. But more of that, I don't work only for myself. I also developed the program that I gave to 3 other teachers, and they also teach. But the idea, the system again, what do I do? They teach, using my program, but they pay also franchisee interest, interest. They pay interest to me. So that's not at all. The idea is, there is no problem. Why do I do this? One thing is because I didn't want. The first reason why I did it, because I didn't have in the beginning of the church, when you just start the church, there is no so much money, and we didn't have any support. Nobody supported us at all. That was my decision. We said that nobody is going to support. So in the beginning of the church, there was no money. So I had a challenge. I had to throw a challenge for myself. When we came back from the United States, and we had only $3,000 in our pockets. For $2,000, we made a repair in the house. $1,000 I paid for 2 months of my son's school education. And then my wife came to me and she said, "We need money." So I started to pray, think about it. She gave me an idea. She's the one who helped me. She said, "You know English, so start to teach." I said, okay. I sat for 2 weeks. I did not, I slept very few. I developed the program. I checked all these websites, with English teachers. I developed a program, special program, that I knew that it's going to work. It will be competitive, to other English teachers in my country. Because I'm a Christian, my virtues, my values, diligence, honesty, integrity, etc. So I'm open, I'm full of love, I'm kind, etc. All these things that we have. So I started the program. I started the course. If you ask me, did I fear? Yes. I always scared of doing something new, but it doesn't stop me. Even Jesus, he got scared being in the Garden of Gethsemane. Remember, he was praying, he asked, "Lord, help me." Because I scared also, but that's why we're Christians. So we should start. In the beginning, that was first thing. Number 2, I had to throw the challenge to my church members, because most of the church members, they always say, "I'm busy, pastor. I cannot make it for for outreach. I cannot make it for the service. I cannot make it for it because I'm working." You have to understand, I have a family. I need to sustain my family, etc. Do you know what I say to them? I work too. So they have nothing to say. Are you getting me? So they have nothing to say. And listen, I'm not a millionaire. I want you to understand. Listen, I'm from Europe, but Ukraine is not a rich country. I mean, it's rich. We have a saying that says we are independent for 21 years. So we have a saying that says people are stealing 21 years from Ukraine, but yet it's rich. So it's a rich country. But I'm not rich. Listen, we're not millionaires. I want you to understand. I'm not a millionaire. Yes, I have my apartment. We just bought last month, we bought a car. But another thing that helps us also with the problems of finances, that probably my wife, you need to address that question to her. Maybe Pastor David, you'll give her a chance to speak, especially to women or to families. She has a topic that names is family budgeting. We have a budget. For example, whom of you are not married? You are not married yet. You're not married. Okay, how much money do you have for your wedding ceremony? No. Okay, whom of you have kids? How old are they? This youngest one. 5. How much money do you have for his university?
No.
My son, he's 12 years old. He has his own money for Oxford. Wow. He collects, not all sum, no, not all sum. He collects. He has about 3-4% only, but he has it. It's better than nothing. So that's family budgeting. So that is why, listen, I'm not rich. I want you to understand, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not going to say, I'm a millionaire. It's good. You can make money. No. To get money, you have to work hard. That's right. My wife said, we bought the car. She said, okay, now, to support the car, she said, you need to get another 7 students. So I found them before I came here, and now they're waiting. As I come, I start lessons. So I work. Did I answer your question?
Okay, 2 more, and we'll go to another section. Okay,
Once again, I'm not rich. You understand? I'm a pastor. Even I don't have money at all. In my pocket, I was, on my way, when we prepared, on my way here, there is this thing, with the lights, and they pay money for that, I thought, I don't have money. We were with Favor, the driver. I thought, they'll ask us to pay money. I don't have anything, any money at all. Why? Because my wife, she keeps all the money because she knows me. If I have money, I can give them away. So I always give money. I'm very, very merciful. So I'm not rich. That's for my wife.
Good evening, Pastor.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you very much for this section. I have the answer to my question. Actually, I'm someone that I'm very passionate about. I believe nobody is a genius,
Yes.
and nobody is a dollar. Every dollar can be converted to a genius. Right? When I left the university, I started out something on my own, training people. You don't know how to read and write, come around, let me teach you. But I have rent to pay, I have bills to settle. When people come around and they can't afford the bill, and I see genuinity that they really want to learn, sometimes when the receptionist tells them to go back, it breaks my heart, but I can't tell them to call them back. Because we are already in a flat system, everybody must pay. And Jesus came to bring joy, peace. How do I help these things?
I got it.
Okay, I'll get your question here. Because I think maybe one of the sessions in the course of the week teach us how to build a financial system.
Yeah.
I think that's what will probably solve your problem.
So don't miss that topic, okay?
Yes, okay.
But it's possible, trust me.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for the lecture. I think my question is, one of the most complex things to do in this life is managing people. And the mind of people are very complex. You used an example, you were asking two people from the same church what the pastor had taken you. No, they had two different. So my question now, you broke it down to different structures as a different levels. And you said the most important thing is value.
Yeah.
Now, how do you go about changing people's values? That their mindset, the way they think. And the processes you have to go through. Like if you're a pastor of a church, how do you go about doing it so that at the end of the day, you get the results that you want?
Thank you so much for the question. I'll answer this question on Tuesday evening. Tuesday evening, I'm going to answer the question. I'll give you the structure of the church. Remember, I told you we are an unusual church. I'm going to give you a structure of the church that we have. But my personal opinion, you have nothing to worry about here in Nigeria. When we started our church in the United States, one of the reasons why we came back to Ukraine also, that was honestly, for me, that was abnormal. Even my wife and even some church members, they told me, hey, listen, you can make more even results somewhere else. Why? Because to explain something or to change values of an American, sometimes it takes 15 or 10 or 15 years. Just to change. Why? Because first 8 or 10 years you have to bow down and kiss their feet for them to believe that you do it for free. Because they have already an idea that if you're a pastor, so it means you want to get money. Because of this TV evangelists, So they always think like that. So to prove them that you really love them and to motivate them to do something, first of all, you have to spend years proving them that you really love them. In Ukraine, it takes about 2-3 years to prove people that you don't need anything from them. Here, you are so simple. That's why, do you remember my wife in the beginning? She said that you are very beautiful people. That's what she really meant. You are very, very simple and you're very open-hearted. So actually, whenever we show love to you, and it's so easy to show love. I already give this example with Favor. Favor, he's a protocol guy from IT, and he was helping us. And come here. Do you remember I told you that I'm going to glorify you everywhere? He's very good. I mean, for me and my wife, it was shocking because the first time we've seen people, of order. In our church in Kiev, it's not like this. They're very good. I'm sure that at your church it's the same way in Nigeria. So, we know each other for how many days?
7 days.
So, did I show my love to you?
Yeah.
How?
By correcting me at times and
how did I make it? How did I make it correctly?
Saying me maybe doing something that you feel.
Did I yell at you?
No.
How did I do it?
He called me to order.
Yeah, but how did I do it? Like this? Order!
You told me no, this is not the way to do this, do it this way.
I did it with a smile. just speaking like this, like a friend. For me, it's not a protocol. You know why? Because when we'll go to heaven, I will not be a pastor, he will not be a protocol guy. We'll be children of God. So there is no difference between us. So who am I to give it to address my words to him, with strictness? I'm nobody. So how else did I show my love to you?
We went out together. Probably ice cream.
Why? Because I thought if I buy ice cream, I bought him ice cream. If I buy ice cream and he's around us, why shouldn't he also eat ice cream? What's the problem? So you know me. Okay, do you know that? Are you sure that I love you?
Yes, I do.
But you don't know me.
I don't judge you from the outward, I judge you from the inward.
But you don't know where I was born. You don't know my education. You don't know anything. How old is my mother? What's your name? No, what's her name? My mother's name.
I don't know.
He doesn't know. But do you know that I love you?
Yes, I do. Show you.
So you see, 7 days it took for me only. So it means I can then motivate him. Listen, to change life values, the best thing is to show. St. Augustine, he said one thing. You should